last but not least, I am so really excited to have my friend and a real trooper, not only in, I guess, the public safety realm, but also when it comes to contractors for minority businesses. Rosalind Stiles, welcome to Let's Talk. Roz, how are you?
Hi, Denise. It is so good to have this conversation with you today.
Good, good.
It, it's right. You're right. We've been around a minute. We've
Oh
seen
yeah.
a few things in our neighborhoods, and so I've always tried to create programs and services that can help people who look like us, walk like us, talk like us, and live in our communities.
Is
And
Dottie
so
Love Wade? Is she with Dottie's not with us? Okay, all right. So it's you and
she's
me.
not on.
No, no, she's not
Okay.
here.
All
So it's
right.
all you.
Okay. All right.
So, Roz, let folks. I know everybody in DC knows who you are, but for that one person who's like, who is she? Tell us a little bit about kind of the work that you've been doing over the years and how you got focused on this new initiative. Well, it's not new anymore, but Jobs Not Guns initiative. But how did that translate from what you were doing in the field of business and
That I'm
minority
still doing
contracting?
in the construction business.
Yeah.
The first thing is, as you know, I was born and raised right here in Anacostia. I tell everybody when the time they built the South Capitol Street Bridge is the same year that I was born. So, in terms of Anacostia, Ray went to Moton Elementary, Douglas Junior High, graduated from Ballou Senior High. I even attended. I even attended Federal City College before it became the University of the District of Columbia. So DC, Southeast, Anacostia is in my blood. And one of the things that I have is being raised by two parents, seven boys and two girls, is that we were raised in a community. I don't care what people think about Anacostia, about Southeast, about Congress Heights, about east of the river, as we are referred to now. It is a very thriving community. And it's always been that way. And so coming up, I was able to do some things that other people may not have experienced. I was able to, after graduation and working in the community by community enforcers, advocates that took me everywhere, taught me everything, the Teresa Jones of the world. And so I kind of was raised in community activism. So I found myself in the early years of being able to apply for a job in for the Peace Corps and travel overseas. I actually served with the Peace Corps for 5 6 years.
I never knew that. Wow.
Yeah, and what it did, it exposed me to other cultures. And when I came back, being rah, DC and all, I said, if I can help people in the third world country, I certainly can help people here in my country and in my neighborhood. So that was kind of the catalyst that keeps me empowered. Well, in terms of the construction building trades, Marion Barry said to me one day, because I introduced the bridal industry, from an economic perspective. But one thing that the mayor said to me, he said, Rosalind, these contractors are trying to come to Anacostia and to build some apartments. He said, go see what they're doing and why they're doing it. Well, when I talked to them, they did have a plan, but the plan did not include the residents of the district. They
Mm.
did not include our hiring our contractors. It did not include hiring our residents. And I was
I'm
like,
sure
well,
he.
you can't come across this bridge if you're not going to leave something here.
I'm sure
If we
he.
can't be a part of it.
Right. I'm sure Marion Mayor Barry being the man that he was knew that, and I'm sure he knew
Exactly.
what he was doing when he sent you after them.
So yeah, he sent me after him. And so what I did is I sat down with the community and I sat down with the developer, and we came up with a memorandum of understanding. And and because they showed us, we had to take the residents to see what they have done in other neighborhoods, to see how the city could benefit. And we found out that they were willing to sign a memorandum of understanding with us, with the community, in terms of deliverables. We will help you to build this process, but you've got to make sure that our contractors get hired. You need to make sure that our residents can have opportunities. So they created an investment fund for the community, as well as gave them preferences around the development project itself.
And so that's
That
where all of this started
that's where it
with the work
started.
that
The
you were
MOU
doing.
started with the first private program, private event, and that was on Good Hope Road, and it actually was the catalyst for me starting Capital City Associates, because I was working on the very first unified communication center that was being built. Working with
Yes.
the ANC, we created a memorandum of understanding on a DC funded project. The DC always had a goal, 35% participation. That project, because of the MOU with the community, it moved the requirement from a goal to being requirement. So that was the difference.
I
It
see.
was a difference from saying I'm going to try and do it, and you have to do it. And so that was the precedent that moved me and the community to making sure that every contract that was let to a contractor had 35% participation for the construction, and had 30 and 40% participation by district residents. And I'm very proud of that whole system became a requirement and became very active.
Well, that's why I wanted you to tell that story, because when we talk about jobs, not guns, initiative, there are a lot of initiatives out there that you know don't actually produce results. They're great, they
Absolutely.
feel good, but when you talk about jobs, you are one who helped to create job opportunities. And
Exactly.
so, yeah, so how did you transition from what
Expand.
you're still doing, thank you, expand
Expanded.
from what you're
Yeah.
doing to this
Well,
new initiative?
I'm a part of the East of the River Public Safety Consortium, which is 40 organizations that operate in the East of the River, or provide support east of the river. When the mayor created the DC Office of Gun Violence Prevention, three of our organizations came together and said, we can help her do this. And so we came up with the concept of creating Jobs Not Guns. Jobs Not Guns is a three-pronged approach to preventing gun violence. The first thing is that recruitment fairs don't work. Job fairs don't work. Our people go to job fairs and they don't get a job,
Oh
and they
yeah,
don't understand why.
yeah.
It's because you might have barriers to employment. So not only do we have to address what jobs are out there, meaningful careers are out there, but what do we need to do? What tools do we need in order for our residents to qualify? And so the three-prong approach is that we provide employment opportunities, we provide training. A lot of training program goes on, but a lot of our residents and our young people don't know where the training is. So we provide the training so that they'll know where that is. And the other thing is that some of our residents and youth have barriers, personal barriers. So we provide support services. So those are the three aspects of Jobs Not Guns.
But
Is that
Rosalind, why that title? Why jobs, not guns? What was the
the thought behind it?
impetus? Yeah,
It
for
was
using that
because
title.
Yeah, because what we're trying to promote is that we should empower our young people, our residents and young people, to support a job. A job does not mean being a cashier at McDonald's. A career means that being in the Air Force, being in the police department, being in the housing industry. There are so many careers that we understand and that are out there, but they don't see those careers. They're not exposed to those careers. And so when they hear about it, the first thing they say, well, that's not for me, or I get turned down, or I get turned away. I don't even get to the table. And so what we try to do is to identify careers and then help them. We provide the resources to help them get through those careers. How did I get started in the building trades? Is because of the apprenticeship program.
Mm,
That's a career builder.
right.
And then what I had to respond to was everybody kept saying, "Oh, they're just flagmen. Oh, they're just street sweepers and all." That's absolutely not true. The building trades, their apprenticeship programs would help you with a career. We have, like, as our speakers and all, we have in the community a young man who at 5 years old was out there being a lookout for the drug dealers.
Hmm.
And he ended up as a teenager incarcerated. When he came out, he said, "There's got to be a different way to work. I mean, to live, because I don't think I'm gonna live very long." So he was recruited into the building trades. He is now the regional manager for the eastern region of the carpenters union. He
Wow.
is now, he
That's a,
tells people, "I went from the streets to a six-figure job." How did he do that? Because the union provided him a salary, benefits, housing, all kind, they kept him working. And now he is a region, Maryland, DC, Northern Virginia.
that's
Those
a great
kinds
testimony to the program, and that's one of the things that we always like to see. The proof is in the stories.
exactly.
So I know you're having an event that's coming up soon. Can you give us the details and also who some of the partners are that are working with you?
Okay. Well, the partners that created Jobs Not Gone is Inner Thoughts Incorporated, my organization, which is the National Association of Minority Contractors, the DC chapter, and the Black Business Owners. And we're all, like I said, members of the consortium. And what we've done, we've had 10 events since the Office of Gun Violence started, and we have been supporting them in helping to get the word out. One of the things that I like about the last two presenters is they all talked about support services and collaboration. Those were
Mhm.
two key elements. We have to work together. If there is support and services out there, they can't apply if they don't know about it. And so what we try to do is to provide that information. So on the 24th of this month in April, in the Panorama Room, we tried to focus this one because we've had two youth workshops, but we tried to focus this one on East of the River because I'm on one of the community the criminal justice advisory committees, and one of the things that we continue to hear from the police department and from the federal office of justice, and especially from the report that came out, the last one about the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, they
Mhm.
talk about east of the river being almost a hellhole that everybody's killing everybody. You know, and I know better than that.
Oh
That
yeah.
we have wonderful programs, we have wonderful services. So what we decided this time is to condense. We're not excluding anybody, but we're going to our schools, our senior high schools east of the river in Ward 7 and 8. And we're saying to them, bring us your students, the ones that are in high school, that are looking for developing careers, that are getting ready to graduate and move on. We want to be able to give them the process, the procedures, the account, all of those tools that they're going to need when they in establishing career, how to do it, and then what they can do moving forward. The good news is that we have an abundance of resources east of the river.
Oh yeah. We
People think that we are a a desert
right,
as it
right.
relates to support and service and opportunities. So we've invited the programs and services and the federal and district agencies to come and share with our young people. These are the resources that are available in your neighborhood. Our employment not only talks about a job, but what are the employers saying about what you need in terms of qualification? The employers will tell them why they're not going to be hired, how they look, how they articulate themselves, how they prepare resume to prepare them for career building.
So what's the date? You gave us the date and the time. Can you give us
Okay,
that?
it's going to be in at the Panorama, Our Lady Perpetual Help Church in the Panorama Room, and that's April the 24th from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Okay.
We, our community, our committee, we UPO provides transportation. We go to the schools, we pick up the kids, I'm sorry, our youth, and bring them to the event. We give them the panel, we give them the resources, we give them breakfast, we give them lunch. We have a fun day. So
So, Ross, one of the challenges that the school systems are dealing with right now is the whole issue of truancy. And so, there are going to be there are a lot of kids. You'll have kids that are in school, but what about those that hear about this, but they just
they're
don't happen to be
welcome.
there? Okay.
We
All
because
right.
our
You know where they
profile,
should be in
yes,
school,
yes, our
Baloo,
profile
Anacostia.
is any youth 16 to 24 for the youth workshop.
Okay. All
16 to
right.
24 is our basic age range. And now, mind you, this is the third one. We've had two that were citywide.
Okay.
We've already had two that were citywide. And the good thing about this one is that we also will be doing follow up beyond the actual event.
Yeah, that's
One of the things
amazing.
that we didn't do, and I'm going to be calling Public Welfare Foundation and saying we need to be able to track, to have the resources to track and monitor the success of their participation.
Right. Right. And,
Data.
and and we would want you to come back to us and talk about those success. I mean,
Exactly.
you gave us one example, which I think is a great one and exciting. But we'd love to know more, so that we can highlight, give those young people the same kind of publicity that the folks that are doing destructive things in our community get. They
Exactly.
get a lot of publicity.
They
Our good
certainly
kids
do.
don't. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so what they just need to understand is that they think that the public thinks because they're in this environment that they're automatically going to be involved in gun violence and drug activities. We're addressing those activities to see how we can get them to prevent the participation in drug activities and gun violence. That's what our mainstay is to give them the things that are out there ahead of time so that they can make good decisions moving forward. For those that have already been in the system, we also have testimonials of where you are now and how you can overcome and become a new Kunte Bedne, who is now a six-figure person. You see,
Wow.
so you have the best of both worlds. What do you need to do to establish your roadmap, and what do you need to do to overcome any challenges that you have now, be that drugs or gun violence or whatever? How we can help you to overcome those barriers and become productive citizens to provide for yourself and your family. You can't fault people a lot of times if they don't know.
Right.
So all of these resources that are here, we're trying to share it with them. We're sharing it with the whole community, not just east of the river. But what we're saying is you all come to the workshop. We'll give you some pointers from employers, from training programs, from people who have been there and done that. That's one of our, who knows the system and how to overcome it. And then with the resource tables, Department of Employment Services, other employing agencies, other support programs. The doctor who was there, she's right. Housing, mental health, drug addiction, all of those are challenges. So, but you need to know where to go.
Right.
And so
Right.
we can't do it. That's not what we do, but we certainly can provide you the information of where to go to get the help.
Well, I think, just from what I've observed over the last couple of years by attending the event that you had at the
The Armory.
national, yeah, the Armory last year, and just your words, I think let young folks know who need to know, that people care. You're doing this
Oh,
not
Lord,
not
yes.
for a contract and not for, you're doing it because you legitimately care. This is your neighborhood. You grew up here. You understand what the possibilities can be, and you're trying to help them to see that as well. And I think people will get that uh, if they're there.
If they're there.
If they're there.
There. So we're still recruiting, students, if they, young people, whether they're in school or out of school, recreation programs, if they're incarcerated and they are in a workforce program. I mean, what we're trying to do is to help the young people to overcome any barriers to employment. That's our
Wonderful.
goal. Is that you know, wherever you are, let's start there, and then help you with a plan for 3 months after the event. We'll be in contact with them and say, where are you? What are your challenges? Did the people you talk to, did they give you, did you, are you started? Have you done it? And then go back to say, excuse me, you told them that you were going to help them. Now they told me they ain't heard from you.
Yeah, they need advocates. Well,
Exactly.
I want to thank you. We've gone way over, but I thought it
Well,
was
I
important
do
to do that.
appreciate.
You know,
And
I just want to get the
after
story out.
after all, Denise, this is our hood. This is
Uh,
our neighborhood. We got to take care of our kids in our neighborhood now.
no question, no question.
And I appreciate you having me and the Jobs Not Gone initiatives on the call, on the show. And yes, we would love to come back and talk in collaboration with other programs and services in helping to prevent gun violence and drug addiction in our community.
Well, that's a play. That's a plan and a date. We'll set that up. And
Okay, dear.
so,
Thank you so much.
wishing you a great event, and we'll probably be there. So we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
All righty.
All right. Bye bye.
Thank you.